A stroke is one of the most sudden and destructive events that can happen to the human body. It arrives without knocking, often in the middle of ordinary life. And in just a few minutes, it can alter your memory, your speech, your ability to walk, and even your sense of who you are. Families are left shocked, and patients wonder how something so severe could have happened with no warning. But as a doctor who studies the brain, I can tell you that strokes rarely come out of nowhere. In many cases, they are the end result of years of small daily choices that slowly weaken blood vessels and disrupt the balance of your cardiovascular system. The good news is that most strokes can be prevented. The bad news is that many people, especially older adults, live with habits that quietly increase the risk every single day. These habits may feel normal, even comforting, but they can gradually rob the brain of its strength. What makes them dangerous is that their damage builds silently. You may not feel pain when you eat salty food, skip exercise, or stay up too late. But the hidden effect is always at work. Today, I want to walk you through the most common lifestyle habits that raise stroke risk. My goal is not to scare you, but to help you understand, in clear and simple terms, why these habits are harmful and how you can protect yourself. Each section will focus on a specific habit, explain the science behind it, share examples of how it affects real people, and then provide practical advice on what you can do differently. By the end, you will see that prevention is not about drastic changes or medical miracles. It is about steady, thoughtful care for your brain and body. Day after day, let us begin with food, because what we eat is often the first step toward health or disease. 1. Eating salty and processed foods. Imagine pouring salt directly into delicate machinery. At first, it might seem harmless, but over time it corrodes the gears, stiffens the parts, and causes the machine to fail. This is what excessive sodium does to your blood vessels. When you eat processed snacks, canned soups, instant noodles, or fast food meals, you may be swallowing more sodium in one sitting than your body should have in an entire day. Sodium pulls water into the bloodstream, raising volume and pressure inside the arteries. High pressure batters vessel walls until they thicken and harden, a process doctors call arteriosclerosis. Once vessels lose their elasticity, blood no longer flows smoothly. Small cracks appear in the lining. Cholesterol sticks to those cracks, and blockages form. If one of those blockages lodges in an artery leading to the brain, a stroke strikes. I have treated patients who swore they only indulged occasionally. But when we added up their daily intake, the amount of sodium was staggering. A few chips here, a slice of pizza there, plus hidden salt in bread, sausages, and condiments. And suddenly their body was under constant assault. The solution is gradual but achievable. Read nutrition labels carefully. Choose fresh produce, lean meats, and whole grains. Flavor food with herbs, garlic, or lemon instead of salt. Replace soda with water and cook at home rather than relying on takeout. With each step, blood pressure falls, vessels recover some flexibility, and stroke risk drops. It is not about never eating your favorite snack again. It is about tipping the balance toward foods that heal rather than harm. 2. Living without enough physical activity. The human body was never designed to sit all day. Our ancestors walked miles, lifted, climbed, and stretched as part of survival. Today, Many people spend hours seated in front of computers, televisions, or cars. Prolonged sitting slows circulation, weakens the heart muscle, and lowers the efficiency of blood vessels. Without movement, the blood becomes sluggish, more prone to clotting, and less effective at carrying oxygen to the brain. In my practice, I see patients who are shocked by a stroke despite having no history of high cholesterol or diabetes. When we look closer, their lifestyle is almost completely sedentary. They work at desks, drive everywhere, and rarely walk more than a few steps at a time. The brain depends on fresh, oxygen-rich blood arriving every second. Without exercise, arteries stiffen, blood pressure climbs, and the heart loses strength. The remedy does not require athletic talent. You do not need a gym membership or special equipment. Simply start moving more each day. Walk after dinner. Take stairs instead of elevators. Do light gardening. Or stretch while watching television. Gentle activities like Tai Chi or yoga can also improve balance to reduce stress and strengthen circulation. Aim to build the habit of moving your body for at least half an hour. Most days, over weeks and months, you will notice better energy, lower weight, and steadier blood pressure. Most importantly, your brain will be protected from the silent dangers that inactivity brings. 3. Smoking. Cigarettes are one of the most concentrated poisons people willingly put into their bodies. Each puff delivers nicotine, tar, and thousands of harmful chemicals into the lungs, which then travel directly into the bloodstream. Inside the arteries, these chemicals cause immediate inflammation and damage. The inner lining of vessels becomes scarred, blood thickens, and pressure rises. Over time, clots form more easily, and those clots can travel to the brain. A stroke can happen suddenly after years of smoking with no obvious warning. Some patients tell me, "Doctor, I only smoke a few a day." That cannot be so bad. But science shows that even light smoking increases stroke risk significantly. The damage is cumulative, like small scratches on glass that eventually cause a crack. Quitting is not easy because nicotine is one of the most addictive substances known, yet the rewards are enormous. Within weeks of quitting, circulation improves. Within months, blood pressure falls. Within years, stroke risk can drop close to that of a non-smoker. The key is support, counseling, nicotine replacement, medications, and encouragement from family can all make the difference. Remember, each cigarette avoided is a victory for your brain. Do not underestimate how much healing your body is capable of once the poison is removed. 4. Drinking alcohol too often. Alcohol is woven into social life. People toast at weddings, relax with wine after work, or share beers while watching sports. But alcohol is a toxin, and the brain and heart are not immune to its effects. Heavy drinking raises blood pressure, weakens the heart muscle, disrupts liver function, and thins the protective lining of blood vessels. Worldwide, excessive alcohol is linked to hundreds of diseases, and stroke is one of the most severe. Some believe that small amounts may be safe, but the line between moderate and harmful is thin and easily crossed, especially as people age. Older bodies process alcohol more slowly, allowing toxins to linger I have cared for patients who thought their nightly drinks were harmless until they faced a stroke linked to long-term pressure on their cardiovascular system. To lower risk, keep drinking minimal. If you drink, do so only occasionally. And with food, never use alcohol to manage stress or sleep, because it worsens both. And if you have health conditions like high blood pressure or diabetes, it is often best to avoid alcohol entirely. Protecting the brain means respecting its limits. Choose water, herbal tea, or sparkling water with lemon. Your heart and mind will thank you. 5. Living under constant stress. Stress is a normal human response, but when it never ends, it becomes toxic. Imagine a car engine running at full speed without ever resting. Eventually, parts wear down and fail. Chronic stress keeps the body in fight or flight mode, flooding it with adrenaline and cortisol. Blood pressure rises, arteries constrict, and the heart works harder day after day. This constant strain weakens blood vessels and makes them more likely to burst or block, setting the stage for stroke. Stress also leads to unhealthy coping behaviors like overeating, smoking, or drinking, which further increase risk. I recall patients who never missed a day of work, carried heavy responsibilities, and told themselves they could handle anything. Then one day, under the weight of pressure, a vessel in their brain gave way. Stress management is not indulgence. It is survival. Practices like deep breathing, meditation, or prayer calm the nervous system. Gentle exercise, time outdoors, and regular sleep restore balance. Talking to friends, family, or counselors helps release emotional burdens. Setting boundaries, saying no when necessary, and allowing yourself to rest are powerful acts of self-preservation. By lowering stress, you lower blood pressure, strengthen vessels, and protect your brain from catastrophic events. 6. Carrying excess weight and obesity. The body is like a finely tuned machine. When it is forced to carry more weight than it was built for, strain spreads everywhere. Extra pounds increase pressure on the heart, joints, and blood vessels. Obesity is strongly linked to high blood pressure, diabetes, and high cholesterol, all of which are leading triggers for stroke. Beyond the physical toll, excess weight can also affect emotional health, leading to frustration and hopelessness, which may discourage positive changes, but progress is possible. You do not need to reach an ideal number on the scale overnight. Even modest weight loss of 5 to 10% can lower blood pressure and improve cholesterol. Focus on sustainable habits rather than extreme diets. Choose whole foods like vegetables, fruits, and lean proteins. Avoid sugary drinks and processed snacks. Drink more water, eat smaller portions, and add daily movement. Slow and steady progress is the most effective because it can be maintained for life. I have seen patients regain energy, reverse diabetes, and drastically cut stroke risk with consistent, patient effort. The brain benefits enormously when the body carries less weight because circulation improves, blood sugar stabilizes, and vessels remain resilient. 7. Poor quality sleep. Sleep is often overlooked, yet it is the foundation of brain health. During deep sleep, the brain clears waste products, repairs tissue, and resets hormonal balance. Without this nightly restoration, the entire system weakens. Sleep deprivation raises blood pressure, disrupts heart rhythms, and increases inflammation throughout the body. Disorders like sleep apnea, where breathing repeatedly stops during the night, can silently double or triple stroke risk. Insomnia, restless legs, or poor sleep routines also leave the brain vulnerable. Many people underestimate this danger, believing they can simply push through fatigue. But the cost accumulates until one day a stroke occurs without warning. To protect yourself, treat sleep as seriously as medication. Go to bed and wake up at consistent times. Keep the bedroom dark, cool, and quiet. Avoid caffeine and screens before bed. If you snore heavily, gasp at night, or feel exhausted even after sleeping, seek medical evaluation for sleep apnea. Treatment can dramatically reduce stroke risk. Quality sleep is not laziness. It is essential maintenance that keeps your brain sharp, your mood stable, and your body strong. Doctor's final words. These 7 habits may seem ordinary, but together they create a dangerous environment for the brain. Salty processed foods stiffen arteries. Inactivity weakens the heart. Smoking and alcohol poison blood vessels. Chronic stress batters the system without rest. Excess weight overloads every organ. Poor sleep robs the brain of repair. Each habit alone increases risk, but combined they create a storm that can erupt into stroke. The hopeful message is that change is always possible. You do not need to transform your life in one day. Start with small adjustments. Replace one unhealthy meal with a fresh one. Walk for 10 minutes after dinner. Set a consistent bedtime. Practice breathing deeply when stress rises. Limit alcohol. And if you smoke, seek help to quit. Each positive step lowers risk and strengthens resilience. As a brain doctor, I have witnessed both tragedy and triumph. I have seen patients lose speech and independence overnight, and I have seen others reclaim their lives through simple, steady changes. Stroke prevention is not a mystery. It is the accumulation of daily choices. Protect your brain by respecting its needs. Feed it wisely. Move it regularly. Rest it deeply, and shield it from toxins and stress. Prevention is far more powerful than any treatment. The time to act is now, before a stroke decides for you. Your future health, independence, and memories depend on it.